Hello, I'm Sharon Taylor, CEO and founder of the Business Vision and Development Center, and your host today. And I am really excited about this programming. It's called Books for Business. So, Villareal and I, who is my co host today, met a couple of years ago, and he always talked about the E Myth as one of the main books for business. And so, as we develop this program, because he's also my business strategist, as we develop these programs for our YouTube channel, he said that he would do the E Myth for me. And I'm so pleased to have him. Again, his name is Villareal Johnson. He is the CEO of BBCP Leadership and Professional Group. And now I'll turn it over to Valerio so he can talk about himself a little bit, and then we'll get into the E Myth.
All right. I'll probably go straight into the E Myth. I feel more comfortable talking about the content of the book than I do myself. But I definitely want to say thank you, Sharon, for having me on here. While the ebook is one of my favorite books for business, it doesn't leave me any room to not acknowledge you and your work. Because if I'm not mistaken, you had it on your website as a free download for your clients, which I thought was really fascinating. Because most people in your position who help other small business leaders and entrepreneurs aren't really giving free content away. So it's really a testament to who you are and your commitment and passion to helping the small business leader, entrepreneur. A little bit about myself. Uh, I first started business in 1999. I've been in business on and off, failed a number of times. And the E Myth is the Bible for those of us who want to be entrepreneurs and uh, go into business and be free from traditional work and create space for others to earn income as well as ourselves through ownership opportunity. Um, so, with you and your introduction about how we met, I think you were a little modest. I think you and I shared a lot of things in common in terms of
Mhm.
how we approach creating opportunities to deliver products and services. Also, how we create opportunities for ourselves to have free time and earn income. Again, hats off to you. Uh, as we talk about the E Myth, I think you and I shared different roles at different times
Right.
in our endeavors. I like to see you as the product creator, the visionary of the content. You definitely will be the technician first and foremost
Hmm.
as your dominant personality. And I suppose I would probably be maybe the entrepreneur, the spirited driver of the creation of opportunities. But I like it because you and I we think really well together, and we think about thoughts and how to create opportunities for others as well as ourselves. So, hats off to you, and again, thank you for having me here. And I think BPCP may be my fourth company, and it probably will be the last one that I own. As we talk about a lot of opportunities, I think this company will grow the rest of the companies out of it, and we can look to talk about how you do that later. But as for the E Myth, written in 19, I think 86 or 88 or something. It's an old book, and it's gaining traction and popularity
Hmm.
again. And I think the book sat dormant for maybe 10 years. People were not even really exploring the book. So Michael Gerber introduced it again, revisited it, touched it up, made things a little clearer in 1995. But the short answer of the book, um, as we go through it, is a couple different parts, and we're going to talk about part one. The
Mhm.
book is broken up into three parts. And the part that we're going to talk about today is the entrepreneurial myth. And I think this piece is where you and I also connect. We understand because we both have W-2s, and we understand that this time around we grow the business from the outside in.
Right.
In Michael's book, The E-Myth, he talks about how business owners try to grow the business from within, and oftentimes that leads to stress and ultimately failure.
Before you go move forward, VJ, talk about that building from within and building from without concept. What exactly does that mean when you say a lot of us build from within?
Well, there's this funny thing, and I got, I don't know if I have a small child, and for those who have children or small children or who even know about this particular movie, Madagascar,
Mhm.
about these animals from the wild or something, or the zoo, and they ended up in Africa or something like that. One of the episodes of one of the movies, I'm not sure which one, they were trying to escape, and they had this beat up plane, and their desire was to get away. And they literally was flying the plane as they were fixing the plane, trying to get to wherever they go. And I often that is the visual for me when people are in business for themselves. Um, and so you for whatever reason, Michael calls it the entrepreneurial seizure, and he lists a couple reasons as to why people just arbitrarily quit their job and go into business themselves. And most of the times, he says an emotional decision. They're upset. People around them encourage them to take the leap of faith. But typically, there are usually people who are really, really good at a particular thing. And up until that moment when they jumped out into the plane to build it as they fly to where they go, they were being paid a nice piece of change to develop that skill, to produce whatever product they were producing in whatever W-2 organization that they were working in. So building the business inside out
Mm.
versus outside in is basically, um, I quit my job. I'm a marketing and communication specialist, or I'm a business developer, or whatever skill set I have. And I say, I'm going to make money for myself. And I have a clear example of that. One of my clients uh, was a technician, and he had skills. He was a master. Well, he was a plumber. I guess with the necessary requirements. And I think he worked for one of the big companies like Michael and Son or something like that.
Mhm.
And something happened, and he got mad at his supervisor, or he found out how much the job actually cost versus how much he was getting paid per hour. And he was like, I could do this on my own.
That's always the go to. I can do it better. I can do it on my own. Go ahead.
And typically, the motivation for people jumping out there is like, I can make more money providing the service directly to my client base. And that is oftentimes true. And what we don't know about business is something called overhead. And we don't know something about planning, and we don't know something about marketing, and we don't know something about back office admin and keeping books and invoicing and reconciling. There's a lot of stuff about business you just don't know because you're an employee. And the value of being an employee on a W-2 is that all you have to do is that one thing that you're very, very good at, and the job will continue to grow you in that space. But there's a whole bunch of different functions um, that work to make that job work for you because you're a part of a whole. in that whole as a company.
Well, let's talk about that. And let's go a little deeper into that.
Okay.
So we have the entrepreneur, the
Hmm.
manager,
That's correct.
and the technician. So
All
this is
wrapped in one.
all wrapped up into one.
Yeah. Like
Lord,
the
I'm doing
Father, Son,
like
and the
this
Holy
all day
Ghost.
long.
Yeah.
So give us a little background. But that analogy with Madagascar was perfect. But give us a little history or some insight on the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician, some of the personality traits that they may exhibit.
All right. Well, so the entrepreneur is really more of a spirit, right? When Michael Gerber talks about the entrepreneur seizure, he's really talking about the thing that grabs hold of you and it pushes you out like a mama bird to the baby bird. It's like, you can do it, right? And you jump out there and you're out there, you just got this idea. I can sell I can sell my in the story he talks about Sarah, who has her aunt's or her grandmother's pie recipe. And growing up as a child, she loved baking pies with her aunt or grandmother, whoever the matriarch was in the family. And then she said, you know what? I'm going to make pies and I'm going to make money selling pies because I love selling pies. I don't like my job anymore. I'm going to make pies. Right. She was a really good pie maker. The recipe was really good. Everybody loved the pies. She would make all the pies for the family events and whatever, small network social opportunities that presented itself. And then one day she got into the thick of things and she realized she don't like making pies. Right? Because Sarah was a pie maker. That was her as the technician. So her as the entrepreneur, infected with the entrepreneur seizure, jumped out there with the idea that I can make a lot of money making pies because I am a technician. My skill set is pie, and I know how to make pies technically. And then the other component where she really went crazy, right, is the management of it all, right? She could not manage the business, growing the business, and making the pies because all she knew how to do was make very good pies. So when we look at the one, two, three wrapped up into one, and Sharon, this is where we are successful at. We're looking for that third person, right? We know
Right. Always on the lookout.
but we play off each other well. So as you say, give you the task,
Yes.
what by when, right? What by when, so I can create the I can create the work and I can create the business and I can sell it, right? And I can market it. And then you could just hold me accountable because at that point, you are the technician because you create the content for entrepreneurs to learn how to go into business for themselves, which is what you brought to me, right? I know how to make it work. And you say, well, here are all the technical steps that we need to do in business formation. I say, oh, okay, well, then this is what I'll do, right? And then you, as the manager, right, uh, shape the direction in which I'm supposed to move and
Mm-hmm.
tell me what I need to do by when. But we also flip that role because also sometimes I become your manager and I
Mm-hmm.
say, well, what do we have to do? Well, did you do this? Did you check that box, right? And you're also the technician, and I'm also a technician
Right.
when it comes to marketing and communication and strategy and approach. So it just depends. So once we get that third person, which is probably be the full-time manager, right? That's the person we're gonna stick in the office uh, at the desk, and they just gonna do, what we tell them to do. Right, right, right. They're gonna manage the schedule, right? They're gonna manage the invoices, and they're gonna tell us both what to do and drive us crazy because
But
well, Michael,
it's all, the thing about it is they are all necessary components. You can't do
no,
one without doing the other
no,
two.
no. And Michael Gerber says something. If you think about the entrepreneur, the technician, and the manager, you have to think about the past, the present, and the future. The
Ooh.
entrepreneur is what is forward thinking. We can do this, and this how grandiose it can be over time in the future. I am living in the future as the entrepreneur. The technician is oftentimes living in the past, right? Needs a specific order to do things. And the manager oftentimes is the one that is in the here or now. Well, no, I'm sorry. The manager is living in the past because they want to order things after they happen, but the technician is usually in the moment. The technician
Mhm.
is sort of like the artist, the creative
Right.
one, the prima donna that need this and I need that and I can't work without this, right? And that's the one you got to provide everything for and make sure the conditions are right for them to be successful. Now we all these functions compete with each other for time and attention, resources. The ideas conflict with one another. Um, so that's how the three works. It's almost, I'm a believer, so it's almost like the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, but they don't fight each other. They kind of all work together. You know what I'm saying? You got God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. It's all designed to make it work. But it's a wonderful thing. And once you understand the strength that you have in one of the three areas, you can then develop yourself in one of the areas of the weakness. But you also got to know when your triggers to switch back and forth.
Thank you so much, VJ. So we did the promo to the E-Myth, part 1, chapters 1 and 2,
Oh,
and
we
we
got
will
the
be
list.
back. We'll be back again in 2 weeks to continue, but we're not going to be finished until we finish this book.
Yeah.
So if you have some books that you'd like to suggest for us to read, you email, which way are my fingers going? You email VJ.
Here we go that way.
VJ can be reached at vjohnson at thebvdcenter.org. Also, go to our website, www.thebvdcenter.org, and check out the E-Myth free audiobook so that you can keep up with us during our Books for Business programming. Any last words, VJ?
No, I think for anyone who has a desire to go into business, I definitely support you doing that. You create the opportunity, though. You think about it before you leap, and you don't think too much about it to stop you from leaping. But you definitely want to have some of your ducks in a row. And as you and I have figured out, we have successfully learned how to manage the W-2 and the corporate entity, so we don't, go one too far, right? Like we just start here, and when we find that manager, we go, oh, and we out of here.
Thank you, Villareal, and we will see you again soon. I told you he is going to be on with us every other. Valerio, you remember what day it is?
Uh,
I got it right here.
is it
Every
every 2 weeks?
other.
Yeah,
We
every
are
2 weeks.
terrible.
Yeah,
That's
every
why we
2 weeks.
need a manager.
That's why you need the manager, right?
So anyway, we'll see you again soon. We'll promote it. And I wrote it down and I still can't remember it.
Well, we
Oh,
put
here
it
it
on
is.
the website.
Every other Thursday, 4 p.m. Every other Thursday, 4 p.m. We'll see you right
All right.
back here until we finish the E-Myth, and then we'll jump ahead to our next book for business. See you soon.
That works for me. Bye bye. Thank you.